So Matriarch started as, like I said, I was kind of trying to join my two passions in life.
We'll be the matriarchs of our generation. We'll be the matriarchs of our generation.
Well, I'm half Kenyan, half Australian. My mom is Australian, my dad is Kenyan. And I grew up in Kenya till I was 13, and then I moved to Australia and lived there until last year. So my life has been half and half between the two, and I've traveled home to Kenya throughout my degree. My degree is in music at Sydney University. And yeah, so I think of myself, Kenya has always been home, and I always knew I would come back. I was born in Australia, but then, yeah, it's been back and forth my whole life. But I do, and I love Australia. Like, I don't talk about it much anymore, it seems, because people, I guess, have just kind of embraced me as a Kenyan. So, but it is definitely a part of my music, because for a long time, that's why I say I think of my music as also a bit indie, like, because the indie scene is very big in Australia. And that's like, for most of high school, that's what I listened to. I didn't really listen to that much like neo soul or hip hop or rap or anything. I mostly just listened to like independent acoustic artists. So every now and then in the music, I can hear that influence. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the most significant way that Australia has influenced my sound. Music for me was always a hobby. Basically until this year, it was a hobby. And it was something I really loved to do, and in my head I was like, maybe I should do it full time, maybe I should take it seriously. But it seemed like such a scary, like, huge thing that I was always too hesitant to like take that step of this is what I do, and telling everyone, hey, I'm a musician, not I'm a musician and something else. So at least for the album that I've written now, which is 10 songs, and it's called Matriarch, and for all the songs, I wrote down all the names of the songs before I wrote the songs. So I wrote down the whole track list of what I wanted to write about, and then I brainstormed words to do with the titles of the tracks. And then from there, I usually sit down at my guitar and I just play around with chords for a while and see which chords I like, and then start to hum over the chords. And then eventually a melody emerges, and then I think about the concept that I had and try and figure out lyrics from there. Or for a lot of this album, what I did is that I came up with chords, just the chords, so like 4 chords. And then I'd sit down at my piano with my laptop and my microphone and just record the chords and loop them, and then sing something, and then sing a harmony to it, and then just slowly build it. And then, because my keyboard has MIDI, so it has drums and everything, so then I just add other elements. I didn't realize this till very recently, but a lot of my songs are in A minor, and I'm not sure. And that's interesting that you asked that question, because I had a professor in uni who was very much into the spiritual, cosmic significance of music, like the way that music is intrinsically in everyone, and we begin with a beat, like our hearts are beating a certain rhythm and all that stuff. She's very into that, and she was she had this thing like about what is your note. Like, everyone has a note or a scale or a chord that they tend to gravitate towards. And so I went home and thought about that. And then I went and I played through like a lot of the songs that I had written at the time. I don't know if this is true now, but at the time, and so many of them had A minor in them. And so since then, I just kind of had this thing that's kind of my chord. Yeah. More closer to my genre. I love people like Leanne LaHavas, Corinne Bailey Ray, Napalm from Hiatus Coyote, The internet, like I love kind of the hybrid alternative genres around hip hop and soul and jazz. Even though I didn't know my shosho and I don't know so much about my previous female family members, there's still something that they have done that has brought me to this place, you know? Like if they hadn't done something, if they hadn't been who they were, I wouldn't exist. Not forgetting that you have roots and that you have women who came before you, and if you ever feel like you're failing or like you're not strong enough, like you are, because there are people who've been through so many ridiculous things who came before you and they made it. Yeah, so the features, I have two features, it's Tetu and Kato Change.
It's time for the afternoon tea, so once again they devour that chapo, that smoky, and that cocoa and coffee.
My brother Doho and Jazz have their sound company, MIS, which has produced everything I've done so far. So they probably will be for a while.